You watch the waning seconds of the Eagles-Ravens game. We had a good news final out of our effort on Sunday in beating the Philadelphia Eagles 27-26. We'll go to Pittsburgh and then on to Cincinnati with the hopes of keeping the season alive. This guy can only watch from the outside when it's not basketball season or baseball season or college football season. But when it's the NFL, he covers the Cleveland Browns. He is out in Cleveland. He's one of our dear friends. Many, many years we've been having Mark Munch Bishop onto our airways here in Baltimore, and he onto his, I should say, out there in the Cuyahoga. 37 years now. Munch, I hit 25 years last Tuesday, so I think the reason we called you was to celebrate 25 years. I need to look up, but boy, you guys got some real problems with that football team out there. This has gotten beyond hideous at this point, man.
Brother, here is the worst thing. Is that other organizations stay pat, they get it changed. Okay, the Browns look like they're going to stay pat for a couple of years at least because the Harvard triumvirate, as I call Sashi Brown, DePodesta, and Barry, they pretty much have sold Jimmy Haslam and give us till 2018. But the thing is this team has regressed this year. It has not improved even with their all the draft choices that they had. And something else to hit you with, too, man, is that they keep talking draft choices. I don't feel that these are the guys that will be the ones to grab the draft choices properly. So you know what? We've got a long couple of years coming our way. But, Nestor, it's just flat-out painful, and it actually has given us some freedom on Sundays that even if it's your job to watch the team, your mind does drift to other things.
Well, and I guess there's now this – look, everybody out there is so prideful, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I come out there all the time, and I've had fun and kicking the dogs, and the dogs kicking us, and we stole your team, and Art Modell, and, you know, all of that, all the ugliness and all of that 20 years into this. Cleveland doesn't deserve an 0-14 team, bro. And more than that, you know, a couple of my buddies have been thrown out of there, from Phil Savage to George Kukinis. Mike Pettin has come in and out of there at this point. Hugh Jackson's a guy I know who's out there right now. It hasn't gotten better, though. It's gotten worse, which is I can't fathom that Mike Pettin is not standing around saying, there's no way I would have been 0-14 if you had kept me around, you know?
Here's the saddest thing, is there's no doubt in my mind Hugh Jackson is a better head football coach than Mike Pettin. I mean, Mike Pettin, very, very loyal to Jim O'Neill. And by the way, his 49er defense also sucks like it did with the Cleveland Browns, although Ray Horton can't be getting any accolades. The thing is this, Nestor, you are sending Hugh Jackson, if he's a general of his troops, in the battle. You're going against guys with, you know, guns that have bayonets on them and that, and it's like the French Revolution before you got the masses on your side. You got forks, you got pitchforks and freaking rakes. You are not going to be able to do battle that way, and that's pretty much what Hugh has. And we'll fault him, is that RG3 was his choice, and right now he's even thinking of jettisoning that ship and seeing that who stands out in camp this week to get a victory on Sunday against San Diego.
Well, you know, you would say, and look, I'm not watching them play much, right? So, I mean, you have to tell me. I haven't seen the Browns play in 6 weeks. I just see that they lose, and I see that, you know, they're losing kind of ugly. I can't fathom that anybody's quitting out on the field with the eye in the sky. I just think maybe they just stink, and I don't know what to make of that, because at some point you would think the pride, they go in there every day, it has to hurt to lose. It has to hurt guys like, you know, Joe Thomas a lot. You know, the guys that have been there, Joe Hayden a lot. It hurts the fans a lot. You know, I can't think that there's not even room to think that there's going to be an upset at any point here. And that's kind of the weirdest thing, that in this level of even drafting, the league is set up for everyone to be 8-8, but they could be this terrible.
You know what, bro? You look at the offensive line. Now, again, Alex Mack was going bye-bye. And by the way, Atlanta solidified pretty good this year with him at center. And Mr. Schwartz, our right tackle, was allowed to leave. There were some injuries to Greco and Batonio. You have 4 guys, in addition to Joe Thomas, that good chance would not be on most rosters in the National Football League. So that's number one. Number two, you know, you've got all these young kids on defense. Here's what I questioned the other day. They're talking about going defense again in the draft. Well, the last 2 years, like 6 of your top draft choices were front 7 guys on defense. So are they admitting their draft this year was also bad. Yeah, the talent pool is despicable. That's again being nice to the guys that are playing.
Well, and then there's Jamie Collins. We were up in New England 2 weeks ago, and I talked to all the New England reporters about him. And, how does Bill Belichick throw a guy of that caliber off the team in Week 7, essentially, for a draft pick? That's a little bit of a caveat emptor now, isn't it, that Bill Belichick wants to run a guy off in the middle of a season?
Do you know what, bro? Look at Bill, though. He's done it before, and I'm laughing now, too. Now, Garoppolo, he's not going to just run off. He's going to want to get something for him. But the bottom line is that is pure Belichick. It doesn't seem to make sense, but dang, they're in the big game year after year after year after year.
Is Collins putting an effort in out there?
I'm going to tell you something, is that I have seen him on more than one occasion look okay. His first game back, he looked decent. He may have 15 tackles in the game, but I'm going to tell you something, Nestor. He is not flying to the football, if you know what I mean. He's getting there if it comes his way. I've actually seen him walking towards some pile-ups, and it makes you think twice about that.
Quarterback, what's going to happen there? What's the situation here, Munch? I mean, again, I'm not watching the Browns, but we're going to see him twice next year.
Bro, they refuse, and there's again talk this year, to try, because I don't think they can. And I'm trying to stay calm here talking to you because you're a dear friend, but this team makes my blood boil, is that they are afraid to take a chance on their franchise quarterback, which means they will continue to fail. Would Carson Wentz have been a good draft choice this year? Yeah, he would have been. He would have been. He's going through some foibles of being a rookie. The defense of Philadelphia has let down. And even the year coming up, there's talk, is Mr. Trubisky worthy of number one? Just because he's a Cleveland kid, you can't take him for that. But just year after year after year, and then we were told, the one thing I'll get on Hugh Jackson, you have to trust him with Cody Kessler. Well, you didn't need to take Cody Kessler in the third round. I can guarantee you that. And McCown, what can you say? You love the guy, he works hard, but look at his all-time record. And right now, RG3, we say, well, he was rusty for not playing in all those games. Now, for a guy who did what he did in the past, they don't have a quarterback, Nestor. That's the saddest thing. And right today, if you ask me who's going to start at quarterback for him in 17, it's probably going to be Cody Kessler, just out of attrition. They don't have a quarterback, and it just breaks my heart.
Any thoughts about the indignity of 0-16 at this point? I mean, there's been a lot of indignity to go around for Browns fans from the beginning. I mean, it's part of our relationship, you and I, is talking about how bad your team sucks and, how our team has a chance, and here we are at Christmas, and here we go again. I have to think about the immense amount of poor decisions organization-wide that starts with the owner all the way through. I mean, even with Angelos, the Orioles never had one of those 45-win seasons, you know what I mean? They always seem to squeak out 57 at least and lose 105 or whatever. But 0-16, that's, I've been at this 50 years on the planet, 48 years on the planet. I've only seen two of these, right?
Brother, let me tell you this. This is you're going to scratch your head, all righty? Is that anyone with a semblance of intelligence is just horrified and keeps thinking it can't happen to us. Well, guess what? It's going to happen to the Browns, right? Their best chance was was Sunday, I should say, not last week because there's no other chances against any other teams in the division. Was Sunday against Buffalo.
Hey, the Chargers might come in and get cold though on Saturday. I mean, literally, right? I mean, the Chargers are no good, right?
Brother, what? If they're no good, then the Browns are no good. No, Phillip Rivers is a very, very good quarterback. He's going to be there. And I've always thought that cold weather, warm weather thing, well, you know what? Look at the roster. They've got guys that have played college in cold weather. They play somewhat their share. Now, can the Browns win that game? Yeah, they can. Will they? Absolutely not.
Are you calling the paramedics? I hear the sirens. Are you calling the paramedics on the Browns? What are you doing out there?
I call them for all their quarterbacks. But listen to this, bro. And here's what gets me 100-fold. We talk about all the Browns, great fans. I'll question that. Is there actually has been some hardcore discussion to the points of, come to the studio, I'll fight you. Our afternoon drive guy, I'll fight you. Of fans that want to have an 0-16 parade in town. Have you ever heard anything so asinine and ridiculous? You want to celebrate going 0-16?
Dude, you don't live in Cincinnati. You live in Cleveland. You can't do that.
Thank you. They want to embarrass Haslam and do that. You want to embarrass Haslam. I could never tell people what to do with their money, but wait till halftime and walk into the game, or wait till the end of the first quarter. The only problem is this, Nestor. I want you to keep your eye out. It is predicted that this weekend, not tickets sold, but there will be more people at 20,562 in the Cavs-Warriors game Sunday than will actually be in First Energy Stadium.
I don't have any doubt about that. It's warm inside of there, and LeBron's playing the Warriors, right? I mean,
come on. You know what, though, man? Growing up, and I still haven't grown up, you could say that and attest to that, is that if it was cold, I mean, unless it was, the Raiders playoff game, you went to the playoff game, cold and snow, man, that's when we love going to football games, because that was Cleveland Browns football weather, and that gave them more than their shot. Right now, it just makes it even more painful when they lose.
Whatever happens here, Munch, between you and I, I'm rooting for you guys against the Steelers next week, right? You're aware of that.
Oh, bro, I'm fine with that. And I've rooted for you guys before to take the Steelers, so we're on the same page on that one.
Hey, man, how the Cavs doing? Everybody I talk to thinks they're going to be in the finals. I haven't found anybody crazy enough to think Toronto or Atlanta or any of these Johnny-come-latelys. It's a Cavs world out there, right? I mean, it's every 2-3 days they play. Every 2 or 3 days, everybody shows up. At least you got something going there, right? And that and Ohio State as well, who probably don't deserve to be in this tournament, right?
A lot going, and it's some good Indians talk going on right now too, because they are talking to various sundry players about coming in to get another stick in the lineup. But the Cavaliers, I'm looking around, Nestor, and if anybody thinks Toronto is going to be the stumbling block, you're absolutely wrong, okay? Yeah, Cavaliers will be headed back to the finals, and a lot of talk about, the resting of LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love in Memphis. Here's how I look at it, and here's how Ty Lue looks at it. Is it wrong for the Memphis fans? Yeah. But right now, we proved last year, winning on the road, that a healthy, rested Cavaliers team in the finals, no matter if it's home or away advantage, is a lot better than home court with a tired Big Three of the Cavaliers. So you know what? Buyer beware. If you're going to any Wizards games, okay, with the Cavs coming to town, make sure that the Cavs don't play at home the night before.
I saw the Cavs beat the Wizards about 6 weeks ago in D.C., and I got to see – I had never seen LeBron play in person before, so it was my first LeBron experience. With my wife's donor was in town, the guy that saved her life. We took him to the game, and we swabbed for the bone marrow registry, and I can now say it's I've checked that off the bucket list. I've seen LeBron play. How about that?
Brother, that is too cool. And I'm going to tell you something else. I don't know if I know you do watch him on TV, but when I'm watching him this year live or on the road, he's got a spring in his step that he had not had for a couple of years. He acts not just maturity-wise and a businessman, which he is, but just on the field, at practice, on down the line, seems to be rejuvenated. And you know what? He's chasing the ghost, as he calls Michael Jordan. And right now, the thing that can help eradicate the chase, get the distance between them narrowed, is winning another championship.
Oh, you want to have a parade. You just don't want it to be for 0-16, Munch.
Oh, bro, you know what, man? I was Ferris Bueller, brother. I was on a float for that parade, and to this day, people are saying, dude, how'd you get on that float? Don't ask. That's all I'm going to say. Don't ask.
I rode in the 01 Ravens parade with Mike Flynn and Spencer Falau and Trent Dilfer and Kim Herring. So that was, and it was completely unexpected. I showed up to sort of photograph it, and they invited me onto the float, and I wasn't even dressed for it. It was raining and cold. I mean, it was February. So I would consider that to be one of the, of the 25 years of things I've done. Riding on that float was pretty cool. I mean, that was a real, that wasn't even on my bucket list because I didn't think I wanted to do it.
Well, you did it and got it done. And just a little trivia for you, my friend. Kim Herring and yours truly, we are both Solon Comets, a suburb of Cleveland, Solon High School.
I often ask him how to pronounce it because you want to say Solon, like Solon, but it's Solon, S-O-L-O-N, Solon.
Yeah, nothing fancy, bro. Just Solon, Ohio, suburb on the southeast side of town.
Well, Kamani Herring's a good man. He's a Facebook friend, a LinkedIn buddy, and, blood brother from Super Bowl 35. And maybe one day the Browns will win a game. It just might not be this year. So, dude, I don't know what to say at 0-14. I mean, I prefer it when we have something to fight about. But at 0-14, you just get my sympathy is what you get here for the holidays, Munch.
Let me hit you with this, and it won't be a fight thing. Should the Indians make a run for Trumbo? Just curious, is it the money why Baltimore doesn't want to bring him around? He had a real good year for you guys.
I think it's a positioning issue. I think it's a money issue.
Okay.
They offered him 3 years and a lot of money. Then they rescinded the offer, which is the Angelos way of negotiating. It's not for everyone, but it's the way he does things. I still think it's 50-50 that Trumbo would wind up back here, but I don't think the Orioles ever really wanted to give him $70, $80, $90 million to come and hit home runs and strike out.
Oh, dude, you know what? You think about the cash, that's insane, isn't it? But a lot of them are insane.
If you got it, spend it. And, certainly the Indians are on the edge of doing something special there and believe they can win a World Series. So if they feel like they need another big bat in that ballpark, they certainly have the arms, and they didn't have them in the postseason because they were injured. But, when I think of the Indians, I think of good pitching all year long. And I know that they're going to come back and be formidable again next year.
Yeah, no excuse, just stating facts. But, 3 games in 9 days was too much for Kluber, as much as a warrior he was. But, dude, again, our second-best pitcher, Carrasco, on the Pines, what a fluke. Get hit by a line drive from a hitter. And, of course, Salazar was an all-star, and he couldn't make a go of it. I'd like to see them. But, I likened the Indians last year to 2015 Cavaliers when Love and Kyrie weren't around.
Well, and, I would say this. You're waiting for different things to have happened in the postseason. Zach Britton never got in the game here, Munch. We're on the 4th month of discussing that at this point. And, that'll never work for the fan base here that Buck Showalter didn't get Zach Britton into a game where they got eliminated. So we've had our own baseball, and they're not going to spend any money this offseason either. So it looks like they've let Wieters walk. So big changes around here, and the big change for us would be just that the Red Sox are now taking things seriously, as are the Yankees, and that does not bode well for the Orioles over the next 5 years, that both of those franchises appear to have their act together again.
It's interesting, though, and, of course, talking Red Sox, hey, if they're out there and available, the Red Sox are going to try to grab them. But it just makes you wonder, okay, is that some of the players they got just, within the last couple of years already seem to be on a down tick, and one of those is Mr. Price. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know, dude. I'm still not sold on the Red Sox. There's something missing with the organization.
Well, you'll see them next October because they'll be in the playoffs, and so will you. If I'm a betting man, Munch, it's always a pleasure, man. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you, the missus, the family, the whole deal. Have a great holiday here this weekend, and hey, the Cavaliers will keep you plenty busy over the next 6 months. I'm not going to shed a tear for you Brownies fans.
You know what? Cry all you want. The Browns are painful, but not just Cavaliers, of course, Ohio State Buckeyes, and a Merry, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend.
Absolutely. ESPN Cleveland and Munch Cleveland out on Twitter. My dear friend Mark Munch Bishop, celebrating 37 years now on the Cleveland sports scene. We love having him on, and I went kind of easy on them. I mean, it's the holidays, right? I mean, they're going to be – listen, once they lose these next 2 games, they'll be 0-16 for the next 9 months. I'll give them a hard time when the Cavaliers are doing well. I'll call them back in the spring. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere you are. Planet Fitness delivers our morning newspaper to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That is powered up, of course, by our friends at PlanetFitness.com and PlanetOfTriumphs.com, where you can get some inspiration for 2017. Still $10 a month in the new year. You can work off the cookies and the eggnog and the ham and the pumpkin pie and the biscuits and the gravy and all the other good stuff I'm going to be eating a lot of over the next week. They say Thanksgiving's the eating holiday. I probably eat more around Christmas because it's longer. It involves cookies and stuff. I mean, Thanksgiving's just a little bit of like a weekend gorge fest. Christmas kind of goes on the whole month, especially if you're into the eggnog kick the way I am right now. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. I am a very available individual. Got a lot of email this week on the London trip. Yes, it's on sale. Yes, it's on sale through Christmas. Yes, you can buy it right now and go to London next year, no matter when the date is. We have it all worked out, all the details under the trips tab at WNST.net. I am Nestor. This is WNST.net AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.